What is up? Hey, what's up, you guys? We're back here. Welcome in to the pre-show before the free show. I'm sitting here. In front of me is Carter Yates, everybody.
We're back. Filling in temporarily because our beloved Greg Tepper is at summer camp right now. So
Summer camp.
yeah, man, summer camp. First time I found out I had sleep apnea, actually.
Okay. Wow. How? Do
I
tell.
was 17.
17?
Yeah, well, there was a couple times like growing up where I got a Fitbit for Christmas and you wear that thing to sleep and
Yeah.
I'd sleep for 10 hours, whatever, teenage boy, and wake up in the morning and the thing would say, you slept 2.5 hours last night. And I said, man, this is so broken. This isn't right. I knew I snored, but
Yeah.
we took a 17-hour bus ride to Colorado, Crooked Creek Ranch. And I was with my now fiance at the time. I can't believe we're still together after this, but she did not sleep a wink. I slept like a baby that entire trip. And then the first night, so for those who don't know what sleep apnea is, you stop breathing for 45 seconds at a time when you're asleep.
That's crazy.
Not good.
Wow.
But you also snore very loud. But the problem with it is it's not rhythmic, so it's and then it's quiet for 45 seconds. And then because what's happening is I'm fighting for my life while I'm unconscious. I'm going to war every night. So the first night I'm there, I'm with a cabin with like 17 dudes. And I wake up the next morning and there are 7 people left in there. And everyone else has taken their bed and thrown it outside. Because my snoring forced them to leave, to vacate.
You're like, where did everybody go?
And it was the only thing anyone could talk about for the entire trip was my snoring. It became the top headline. It's like, Carter snores so loud. This is unbelievable. So my mom knew I had it, and I ended up going to the doctor. Mm-hmm. And the sleep doctor, and he said, look, there's no way this kid has sleep apnea. I was 18 at this point, a senior in high school.
Yeah.
My mom goes, no, like he needs to get tested. So I got tested. Sure enough, comes back. You got it, buddy.
Did you do like one of those like sleep study things?
Yes, they hook you up to all the monitors, and the monitors come back flashing red.
They were like, somebody help him.
So I go get my CPAP, and the doctor looks at me. Keep in mind, I'm a second semester senior. Wow. I'm a retired athlete now. I'm going to college. I picked my college, and he hands me the CPAP, and he says, young man, you can now reach your full academic and athletic potential. And I said, well, gee, thanks a lot, doc. That's just great, isn't it? Feel much better, though, now.
Wow.
It really is a lifesaver.
Wow.
But that's how I became the youngest person ever at the doctor's office to get a CPAP machine.
So they were just like, man, Carter is so loud, snoring so loud at camp. And that's just how it went down.
They were like, it's amazing you functioned like this up to this point. I used to fall asleep in class so much I'd have to go redo the school day when I got back.
Oh.
For my homework would be learn everything you were supposed to learn in class because you fell asleep during it.
We need to bring on like your parents and just like share some stories as well about Carter Yates.
There's a lot of them. Make up a lot of pre-shows. That'll do it for this one. Give me my theme music. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's mothership in beautiful Louisville, Texas, I'm your temporary host, Carter Yates filling in for Greg Tepper, who is off and away at summer camp. He will be back next week, but in the meantime, you're stuck with me and our producer, Vianney Moreno, making me sound all nice and pretty up here. Vianney, do we have first four through the door?
Let's see. We have Mr. Matt Stepp and jersey number 69 is with us
Shout
today.
out those two.
And we're on Instagram Live, reminder as well.
Well, whether you're listening to us on Instagram Live, following along live at YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast, thank you for supporting your local mediocre internet show. Let's start it off with This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers. Greg, how we doing today?
What's up, y'all?
Now
Can we hear him?
There we
What's
go.
up, y'all? There it is.
Second time's a charm. It's nice for you to be here, Powers. Thanks for always
Thanks for
stepping in.
having me, man. I always have fun whenever we do the show together.
Yeah.
Talking ball.
There's a couple dudes up here talking ball. What else could you ask for on this Thursday afternoon?
Not much more, man.
Let's get right to it.
Fishing poles.
It's This Week
In Recruiting.
All right, Powers. First up, we got a prospect on the rise. It's Austin Anderson, defensive back Yaheem Riley. It's 80 tackles last year, 6 packs breakups, 4 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions. He was one of 9 new 4-stars named by you to the Dave Campbell's 4-star group yesterday. 2026 guy committed to the University of Texas. Why is he our prospect on the rise?
Yeah, it's weird to say that Yaheem Riley would be one of the prospects on the rise because he's a well-known commodity, right? You mentioned that he was one of the top stat-producing defensive backs in this cycle last year. Well, we were one of the first ones to name him a 4-star, and the reason why we named him a 4-star is his tremendous versatility. I think he's a defensive back who could really play anywhere in the secondary. I think he can play safety, which you see tremendous range from him at the safety position, but I think he could easily slide over to play corner as well. He can play nickel. He's battle-tested in Austin against top flight competition at Austin LBJ. They have a really good team, and now he's at Austin Anderson, where I think that he'll be an even bigger part of a two-way player there. I think you'll see him flip over and provide some valuable snaps on offense as a wide receiver, especially now that they have to find someone to replace the production that Ed Small had last year. They're going to be looking to replace their quarterback, Max Gerlich, as well, but they've got some guys to turn to, especially Riley, who could, I think, be that star on their team, whether he's playing offense or defense. But as he goes into college at Texas, the Longhorns are definitely going to use him in the secondary. And the comparison I like to make for him body-wise and style-wise is Caden Stearns. Now, Caden Stearns was one of the top-rated players in the entire country, and I don't think Riley is going to climb to the top of those lists because, Stearns was like MVP at the Nike camp and, got an invitation to the Army All-American Bowl back in those days and got a chance to showcase himself on the top platforms, but Riley should remind some Texas fans of him. I think it's also important to note that here at Dave Campbell's, we only rate 50 4-stars in every cycle, and he is going to be one of those 50. And as a matter of fact, if you want to go ahead and check that list out at texasfootball.com/recruiting, the 9 4-stars that were named yesterday brings us to 50 total 4-stars to kick off the 2026 cycle.
Let's go.
And the Hot 100, the Rising 100, will be dropping on Monday.
It's so interesting watching his tape because he legit plays cornerback, safety, nickelback. And I reached out to Bernard Bam Blake, Bam Performance, an Austin area trainer who, his proteges are Andrew Makuba, John A. Barron, Michael Taff, all those guys, All-Americans at Texas. And Bam told me this guy's the epitome of stars don't matter. And the other day, I know we just named him a 4-star, but most of the places he's 3-star.
Well, now now stars do matter.
Now stars do matter.
Now
That's how it works.
because he's a 4-star now, so we can put some shine on that he's a 4-star, getting his what he deserves, I would say, in the rankings process. But I can see why he's under the radar, right? Like he doesn't Austin LBJ is a power, but it's not like a 6A power.
Yes.
I don't think it's fair to say that Riley was flying under the radar. I just don't know that if he has the verifiable measurements for some of the websites who use a different rankings process, quite honestly, to rate these guys on their potential NFL upside, which is a little bit different than what we do here. We're kind of projecting hopefully college success and all conference potential.
Yeah, and sometimes those recruiting services, they can't always see what this guy looks like in practice, the intangibles you can't measure. And Bam talks about how he grabs more reps than all the other kids. He's teaching kids on the side when they aren't getting it as well as they probably should be. He thinks this guy has the tools to be the next Andrew Makuba, Michael Taft, Jahdae Barron in that realm of those guys.
If you hedge your bets towards versatility in recruiting, I always think that's super important, right? Because you have a chance to play different positions. And those guys inherently, when they get on the roster, seems to have more value to the fan base because they are on the field. Mm-hmm. If you're not on the field, it's hard to provide value, or if you're behind a stacked cornerback room and you can't get out there to play corner, it'd be nice to be able to get your skills on the field to play nickel or safety, and I think that's what he brings to the table. I also think out of the gates he could be a heck of a special teams guy because of the effort that you're talking about. So this was a big get for Texas, and those are some of the reasons why he was elevated to 4-star status here at DCTX.
Yep. Yaheem Riley, you will see him in a Texas Longhorns jersey soon enough, but first, Austin Anderson. They got a senior year coming up, one hell of a player there. Let's go to the commit of the week. It's Conroe 2026 defensive back Xavier Harmon, 6'2", 185 pounds, first team all-district player. Where'd he go, Powers?
Well, he committed to Stanford, which offers a tremendously well-rounded package for any high school student with the academics and hopefully a good football squad to play on as well. I know that they've had some coaching changes and stuff going on in Palo Alto, but Stanford is like a marquee name, right? They're always pretty good at football, and guess what? They set the bar pretty high from an academic standard as well. I really like this pickup for them. I want to tip my cap to Coach Hardiman at Conroe, who has done a tremendous job at not only having great talent on the team, but developing that talent into top stars. And I still feel like Conroe is one of those schools in Texas high school football that is one of the most undervalued stops on the recruiting tour. This is a school that you can't pass up. You have to stop in there if you're in that area recruiting, because they are doing a great job there. The secondary that they've had over the last couple of years has just been absolutely sick. Dorian Brew, of course, one of the top-rated players in the class of 2025, and then you have Xavier Harmon and some more names coming out in this 2026 class as well. So Conroe's I'd say high school on the rise, power on the rise over there. I'm interested to see how they produce because they got some talent coming back on offense this year too.
It's interesting because they are one of the biggest high schools by enrollment in Texas, but I'd agree with you. You don't always think of them as a traditional power. What do you like the most about Harmon's game tape? Because what I see right here is a guy who's most of his highlights come in press man coverage. He's coming up hit sticking running backs, going real routes. He plays with a lot of confidence from what I see. What do you like about him?
Well, it's funny that we bring it up because he and Riley share a lot of similar qualities with one another, and they're very similarly rated in some regards. I think Harmon is the number 6 corner in this class, and we have Riley as the number 4 safety. He's a guy who I feel like is big enough and strong enough to, like you said, play on an island, play press, and take on that bigger, stronger wide receiver in one-on-one scenarios. But because of his length and aggressiveness, I also see him potentially playing safety as well. I wrestled with the decision whether to rank him at safety or corner internally, so you can see how tough a call that is. You saw the first clip; he completely just took somebody's face off.
Yeah,
and he does that quite often. And again, here's a note for players that are making their highlight tapes. He put his best clip at the beginning, right? I think that's important. You always put your best clip at the beginning. But he worked in his special team stuff a little bit later on to show off, look, I'm playing with effort. And I think that's really important. But I always think it's good to top load your highlight tape so you grab people's attention right away.
That is good advice. Put your special teams highlights in there because to me that shows He is bought in. He's an unselfish player. If you're going as hard as you are on special teams as you are on your main position defense, that speaks a lot to your character.
You want to get to those clips, though. You don't want those clips to be like right out of the gate because you want to be able to see what you want on that highlight tape at the beginning is what position am I going to play in college? Here's the tape that proves it. So you got to put that at the beginning, but it's also good to work in some of that other stuff at the middle or towards the end.
It's like a side dish.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the French fries with the burger. You want the burger is your big hit sticks, but then those fries.
It's like when the crab cakes come out with the beurre blanc. It's your you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not an appetizer because it's coming like fourth course, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
If the crab cakes could be fourth.
They will put you from like, they're not going to say, oh, that steakhouse had really good crab cakes. That's why they're my favorite steakhouse. But it doesn't hurt when you're discussing between two of the top steakhouses.
Terrible comparisons here. Cut this out of the show. we should have come up with some different, but yeah.
Exactly. You get our drift. We're live workshopping it. It's live TV, guys. All right. Let's go to the underclassman of the week. It's Hutto offensive lineman Jaden Mack, class of 2027 guy. Powers, tell us about the Mack truck, Jaden Mack.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is a road grader, so having the last name Mack fits perfectly. We are going to have a lot of fun watching him on Texan Live, playing for the Hippos down at Hutto. I got a chance to watch him at the Under Armour camp in Houston and was just flat out blown away. I knew he was good. I didn't know he was this good. This dude is full grown. Like, he's ready to go right now, walking into his junior year of high school. He's ready to step onto a college field from a power and developmental body standpoint. And then you watch his tape and see he could play center, he could play guard, he's playing tackle, like he could do a little bit of everything, but I like him moving inside, and you're seeing why all the colleges are starting to come after him right now. He's a pancake maker. He loves to drive people into the dirt and finish with a little bit of nasty streak. And I got news for you. He's only touching the tip of the iceberg on his developmental potential, because I think the switch has flipped. He knows he can dominate now.
Yep.
And that's what I started to see this offseason when I got to see him in the camp setting. He started to see, like, wait, I'm one of the best guys in the state. I'm one of the best guys in the country. And now he's coming after those offers, and you're starting to see it bear fruit.
Well, Coach Eli Reinhardt, the former offensive coordinator at North Crowley, now the head coach at Hutto, has nothing to say but great things about this guy's character and buy into the team. Also says 600-pound squat, 500-pound deadlift, 330-pound bench. That'll get it done.
He was probably the most vocal guy at the camp, too, in a camp full of stars. I was fired up to see Jaden Mack take another rep because I was excited to see how it was going to go. And that's hard to say in a camp setting because over 20 plus years of covering recruiting, I've been to hundreds of camps, right? So after you've gone to hundreds of camps, the expectation level gets set. To get me hype after year 20 to see you take a rep, that means something. It means something to me.
Exactly. I want to see how they compete when they're with all the alpha dogs in their class.
Right.
And if you're showing up as the alpha dog, and that says something about your character.
As an underclassman.
As an underclassman 2027 guy. Just got a new offer from Oklahoma State. Let me read off some other offers. Houston, SMU, Texas A&M, Texas State, Arizona State, Cal, Kansas State. Is that it? What an offer sheet.
That next wave is coming, though. It's going to be Texas A&M, SMU, Baylor, Oklahoma, LSU. Those offers are coming for him soon.
And you heard that here first on This Week in Recruiting. Powers, thanks for joining us for This Week in Recruiting. You're sticking around for the QB wide receiver rankings,
I wouldn't
right?
miss that, man.
Coming up on the other side of the break, we are going through Class 6A and 3A, the top quarterback wide receiver rankings in each classification, coming up right after this ad read.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Hey DFW residents, get your grocery essentials in minutes, not hours or days, with Wing Drone Delivery. Forget about last-minute trips to the store when you need things like cereal for breakfast before school, medicine for a cold, or snacks for a movie night. Wing's drones get you quick, no-contact delivery in as fast as 15 minutes. Say goodbye to last-minute grocery runs and say hello to more of your valuable time. Sign up today.
Joined out here by Hayden Gunner at Denton High School. Man, it's a big day for you. You got your decision coming right now.
After a lot of thinking, with the family talking, stressing out.
Let's see exactly where Malik Hawkins is going to be heading.
First off, I want to start by thanking God. Without him, I wouldn't be anything. I wouldn't be blessed with all these opportunities.
He's got 5 schools he's choosing between. We're about to find out who it's going to be. Got your teammates, coaches, family, friends surrounding you, so you couldn't have a bigger stage right here to announce it on. So without further ado, we're going to go to the man right here, Kobe Foreman. Who's it going to be?
I will be attending.
I'll be committed to the University of Oklahoma.
University of Texas A&M.
Stanford University.
The University of Oklahoma.
Every legend starts with a vision. For Dave Campbell, that vision was clear. Tell the story of Texas football like never before. In 1960, he built something no one had before, a magazine that became the Bible of Texas football. Coaches, players, and fans didn't just read it, they lived by it. His words shaped the game. His vision built a legacy. And his name? It will always be written in the story of Texas football. Dave Campbell's Texas Football, where legends begin.
Welcome back into Texas Football Today. I'm your temporary host, Carter Yates. Joining me on the desk is Director of Recruiting, Greg Powers. The reason you can hear both of us is because Vianney Moreno is in the producer's room making us sound all nice and purty.
What's up?
Vianney, I'm going to rely on you for this next segment because I want to hear from the comment section what they think of the quarterback wide receiver rankings that just came out on Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
Wait.
And these are combos, by the way. What's up, Vianney?
No, I was just going to say that we got Step in the chat saying, #thank you, Carter.
Oh, I appreciate that, Steph.
Also, Ashley Pickle saying, Mr. Steal Your Show.
Thank you.
And
I'm just babysitting the show. I'm not stealing it.
and Powers Pickle loves your shirt.
Oh, nice.
Thank you guys for following along and listening to us. Let's see if they
I like that Pickle likes my shirt better than your shirt.
I expected that, honestly.
I said the same
That's fair.
thing.
Let's see if they still have such nice things to say after we unveil these rankings. You can find them all on TexasFootball.com. We're going to go Class 6A starting off. These are the best combos of quarterback wide receiver. So put those guys together. It's not just who's the best individual guy on either side. It's how they make a team. And these rankings were developed in a complex formula of returning production, some stars, maybe a little bit of projection, otherwise known as my brain. I picked them. And Powers, I'm going to have you sing what you think of them right here. First off, Class 6A. Number 5, Austin Vandegrift, quarterback Miles Teodecki, and wide receiver Brock Chilton. Teodecki opened my eyes in the state championship game with completing 14 of 17 passes for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. Got an official visit to Kansas State this weekend, officials to Harvard and Penn coming soon. The lefty, he could spin it when I watched him. Then Brock Chilton, 5'8", 168 pounds. He reminds me a lot of Miles Coleman that they had a couple years ago, who was 5'6" and led the Class 6A in receiving yards. Now, Chilton had 909 yards and 12 touchdowns, didn't lead Class 6A, but he also missed the final 3 games of the season. So he's got offers from a lot of service academies. I like the Miles Coleman comp. I think those guys are going to be ones to watch this upcoming year.
I love this selection. You know, I was on the Teodecki bandwagon early. We rated him in the top 5 at the quarterback position before he had any of these P4 offers. So I'm feeling really good about that projection for him, and he falls right in line with all of the top returning guys that have a chance to win a state championship. He's already got a ring.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So he's already got a ring.
Back,
he's a proven winner, and I'll be excited to see now. You mentioned the Chilton missing those last 3 games, right? Mm-hmm. I bet he's going for broke.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I think he's just one of the most fun players to watch in the state.
You mentioned how proven Teodecki is. This next combo at Humble Summer Creek, not as proven together, because Noah Spinks, the quarterback, was at Flower Mound last year. He started 3 games as a freshman, and then all of his sophomore year, he earned all district honors with 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns passing. And then you could pick one of 3 receivers at Summer Creek. They're loaded. Larry Brown ran a 4.31 laser time at the Rivals camp. Holden Miller had 740 yards and 10 touchdowns. I picked Benny Easter because he had 987 yards and 12 touchdowns. Great blend of size and speed, makes him a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, I love this pickup for Summer Creek. I know that this had to break the back of Flower Mound because they had some pretty good skilled wide receivers there, right? But, he moved down to the Houston area, pretty far move. I'll be interested to see now how he fits into that district and on that team. Because Summer Creek has been, over the last couple seasons, one of the best teams in all of Texas high school football. Played for a state championship game. And is he the arm that gets them over the hump? That's my question. And which one of these receivers will he have the best rapport with?
Exactly. So a little bit of projection.
It's a fun thing to watch, right? Like, this is something that we'll watch and judge. I'm going to come back and judge you later on it, like after game 5 next year, and be like, way to go.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that. Now, number 3, Laredo United quarterback George Luna and wide receiver Colt Lozano. Lozano was the district MVP as a sophomore, finished 6th in Class 6A with 1,183 yards, 13 touchdowns. Padilla Bowl coaches All-State. Coach David Sanchez over there says he could be the second Division I quarterback recruit. I mean, not quarterback recruit, just overall recruit in program history at Laredo United. Excellent route runner. Luna is 6'2", 180 pounds, throws bombs. It speaks a lot to Luna's arm strength that Lozano doesn't outrun those throws. 25 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Impressive with how much they throw the ball, that he only had 5 picks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I bet you they're looking to take those next steps, and they need him to come through to advance further into the playoffs. It was a really strong district year for them last year, going 5-1 in their district. But I'll be interested to see now, can they take that step and make it and win some hardware in the playoffs.
Taking it up now to the DFW area. Number 2, Waxahachie quarterback Jerry Meyer III and wide receiver Cohen Brown. In my quarterback's powers, I always look for the dog mentality. And I think Jerry Meyer shows that because he was the single season touchdown passing holder record as a freshman in Nevada with 59. Then he moves to Waxahachie in the toughest district in Class 6A with Duncanville, DeSoto, and all those guys, and then wins Offensive Newcomer of the Year. He had, awesome stats last year. He's gained 15 pounds. Coaches say he's had a great speed. And then Cohen Brown, I went and did an insider piece on Brown last spring, and I had maybe the understatement of the year when I said he could be a Power 4 player, because he had really taken the coaches by surprise that offseason. And this season, he goes 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 6 foot, 185 pounds with 4.4 speed. That'll get it done.
He's one of the newest 4-stars in our rankings too. So he was one of the 9. I think we were the first ranking service to rate him 4 stars possibly. The reason behind that is I feel like he's one of the most overlooked players in the state. Yeah. He produced in 11-6A consistently. And another thing on this combo that I think that fans should take note of is Jerry Meyer passed for well over 3,000 yards last year. I think it was like 3,361 or 3,300 and something last year. Those stats surprise me too, because the offensive production is there. And I know that he was dealing with some small nagging injuries throughout his first course of Texas high school football. He's a freak show. Yeah. I think this team is a team to account for. Not only in 11-6A, but what happens when they get to the playoffs. I'm calling my shot now. Hatchie's going to the playoffs.
I love that.
And this is a loaded team. Jordan Smith from Groesbeck is now over at Waxahachie as well, giving them a different dynamic. I feel like is a running back wide receiver combo type of player. So, I mean, Meyer's going to have weapons to utilize.
And something to watch, too, is Cohen Brown is switching from inside slot receiver that he played all last year, now outside X receiver. He will also start at cornerback for them, playing 2 ways at 11-6A school. It's pretty unheard of. Now, with that being said, the number 1 duo was the easiest number 1 of any 6A through 3A QB wide receiver duo. It's Southlake Carroll quarterback Angelo Renda and Brock Boyd. Boyd's the number 2 wide receiver prospect in the class of 2026 per Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Greg Powers, just behind 2026 wide receiver Booby Feaster, who reclassified to 2026. Committed to Ohio State, had 1,868 yards and 19 touchdowns. Renda last year with 3,899 yards and 40 touchdowns in his first year as the starter. And he had to elevate his play as the season went on because Davis Penn and Riley Wormley both got hurt. So you saw at the beginning where he was leaning on those running backs. He had to carry them to that state championship game on their third string running back. And that third string running back did a hell of a job. But Renda became the leader of that offense.
And Davis Penn will be back in the backfield this year for Southlake, overcoming an injury that he suffered during the season last year. I think this one was a layup. You did a tremendous job here. I'm not going to argue against your number 1 selection because I do think that, I mean, Brock Boyd, he's a stat producer. I think, what did you say, 1,800 something yards?
Numbers don't lie, man.
Yeah, numbers don't lie, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year. They were one of the top teams to watch last year, and it was a combo that really caught fire last season, and now coming back this year for even more.
So no qualms from Powers about my Class 6A rankings. Let's take it on to 5A, see if we could say the same. Starting off at number 5, it's Pflugerville Weiss quarterback Jackson Shad and wide receiver Trey Moore. Shad is asked to start last year as a freshman at a 5A school because Jax Brown, the returning quarterback, gets injured in a scrimmage. And, man, he goes 2,689 yards, 32 touchdowns on a 71% completion rate, showing some guts as a freshman to start that whole year. And Moore is 6'3", 200 pounds, had 562 receiving yards last year. I expect those numbers to improve this year because Adrian Wilson was the number 1 last year, who signed with Colorado. I believe he's at, where's Adrian Wilson?
He's in, last I saw, he's in the transfer portal.
He's in the transfer portal now, but signed with Colorado, was a high 4-star type player. So those are my Pflugerville Weiss. That's my QB wide receiver duo from there.
Yeah, I love that pick too because I think Trey Moore is one of the breakout players in all of Texas high school football this year. I'd be shocked if he didn't go for 1,000 yards. The only thing I think that could keep them from that is what goes on with the head coaching position. You know, Coach Hughes is no longer at Weiss. He's moved to Mesquite Horn, I believe. And how will they now carry that program forward? Will it be the same? Will it be different? Those are my questions about the production for these two, but I think that on-the-field product has already been proven. Shad did a tremendous job last year.
Yep.
Like, that was a tough spot to be put in. Jax Brown was like the man and just suffered a heartbreaking injury. Now at Arkansas State, by the way. So his D1 future is there. But the team didn't have much of a setback because Shad played so well.
Yeah, it speaks a lot to his character to step in like that. Now, number 4, we're going Iowa Colony, quarterback Carson White and wide receiver Jaden Warren. White is a junior, and this will already be his 3rd year starting. Jackson Shad's following that Carson White trajectory.
Yep.
District Offensive MVP last year, led the team to back-to-back 12-win seasons. And then Warren's 6'2", 195 pounds, runs a 4.4. The calling card for both these guys is competitiveness in dual sport roles. Warren runs track. Carson plays baseball and track. That's my number 4 spot.
Look, you're not going to get an argument from me on this one because I'm still a big believer that Jaden Warren is going to pop off even more stats this year. He's a problem. Mm-hmm. When you're that big and can run that well, good luck. Exactly. Good luck.
Number 3, we're going Red Oak in the DFW area with Billy Middleton III and wide receiver Braden Robinson. So these dudes have been friends since the 1st grade. Talking to Coach Melvin Robinson at Red Oak, who is Braden's dad. Robinson had 79 catches for 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns last year. Runs a 10.44 in the 100-meter. He's a 4-year starter on varsity. Student of the game, coach's kid. They say cliches like that because they're true most of the time. And then Billy Milton III, I think he's one of the big sleepers in the quarterbacks for the class of 2026. Unanimous first-team all-district selection with 3,334 yards, 6'2", 170 pounds, Also a first-team all-district center fielder, runs track. He's got 2 offers from Missouri State and San Jacinto State. But this will be the first time Robinson, as head coach, has had a multi-year starter at Red Oak. Billy Middleton coming back this year in 2025 should be exciting to watch.
That's a good shout there about the first-time year starter. That's important. I really feel like that's important. Braden Robinson's my number 1 rated slot wide receiver in the 2026 class in Texas. I think he's the best of the best. And the reason why that is he plays so hard, so competitive. He is a ball of electricity on the field. And whether he's returning a punt or a kick or catching the ball over the middle, he has those dynamic qualities. But he can stretch you out a little bit. Like, he has some field stretching quality because of his speed and his hands. He can get open. He's obviously got quickness to bust open those underneath routes, but he surprises me with this down the field ball winning ability.
I'll be interested to see what you think of this next pick, Powers. I'm going Waco University quarterback Savoy Nichols and wide receiver London Smith. So, talking to the coaches there, Savoy and London are there before school, working out in the weight room. They're there after school for hours, working on the routes and working on the fine points there. They've been all gas, no brakes this offseason. Mallory and Ish loved Savoy Nichols when they saw him against Lampasas. He threw a game-winning touchdown pass. They said he was a sophomore then, very toolsy. He's 6'5", a little raw at that point. I think he's had a really good offseason, picked up a Midwestern State offer. And then what else can you say about London Smith? 45 catches, 626 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Seems like, okay, why is he number 2? That was done in 5 games last year. He got injured. Also an all-region player in basketball. Both his parents were star athletes at Baylor. He is committed to Baylor. That's my number 2 selection.
You know what? I like it, and here's why.
Let's go.
My favorite player growing up as a child, Randall Cunningham. Philadelphia. I know my Dallas Cowboys people are going to be like on me for that, but I can't help it. Like, Randall Cunningham was so fun to watch. I love the dynamic ability that he brought to the table. But the thing that I can recall back as I think about him playing is he just had like this whip-like action as he threw the ball, and my heartstrings tugged on me a little bit when I watched Savoy Nichols throw in pads, that it reminded me of my childhood. Right?
The Randall Cunningham shout-out. I love it.
So Savoy Nichols, he's one of these guys that just continues to fly under the radar and shouldn't be. He has the raw abilities that colleges are going to be looking for in this position, and the arm strength. London Smith, that writes itself.
Yep.
He's one of the top players in the state. But I feel like people should quit sleeping on Savoy Nichols.
And with a full season with London Smith, hopefully it should be a special year. Number 1, this one's all returning production. It's Highland Park quarterback Buck Randall and wide receiver Cannon Bosman. Randall was the first Highland Park sophomore to start at quarterback since Matthew Stafford, and then turned in 3,899 yards and 40 touchdowns, led them to their first state championship game appearance since 2018 when Chandler Morris was there. Bosman, 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns. He flashed in the Lone Star game that I watched. Also broke the Highland Park 100-meter dash record with 10.66.
Wow.
Has 4.4 speed. All right, that's my number 1. The Scotties.
What I wouldn't argue against it. I think if I'm looking pound for pound on this list, I feel like number 4 is the sleeper.
Okay.
Right, with Iowa Colony. I feel like they're
probably a little low.
I feel like they're a team that has a chance to pop off and potentially win a state championship behind that combo. But Buck Randall and Cannon Bosman are right there with them, right? And there are a lot of believers out there in Cannon's skill set. And I'm one of them. I feel like he is, like, if you're looking for a Texas high school football player to, I don't know if he can be a here's a guy. You know, on our rising show, we pick out Carter picks out a here's a guy every month. He could qualify for that, but we'll have to see. But to me, he is a here's a guy type.
He's on
Does
the
that
watch
make
list.
sense?
He's on the watch list right now.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, BNA, how are we doing in the comment section? Anyone got any gripes? Anyone got any suggestions about where they'd rank guys?
Let me check Instagram.
Going into the Instagram comment section.
Going into the gram. Tillis Corey said safeties, Houston area, be on the lookout for Griffin Tillis.
All right. I'll be looking for the safeties in the
Jacobs,
Houston area then.
Staten, Blue Devil. Yep.
When they're on our top safeties list coming out later, I'll have those Houston safeties.
So are we doing 3A and 4A next?
Let's run through 4A and 3A.
We are going to do it. these are the funner ones for me because I know less about 4A and 3A players. Obviously, as somebody that covers recruiting, I have to go to a lot of top-end 6A games throughout my travels, but I get just as passionate about some of these smaller school stars, and there's some good names on this list.
So if you got something, maybe we won't go to you after everyone, but if you got something, hop in.
All right, sounds good to me.
All right, Class 4A, number 5, Sealy quarterback Kane Kilo and athlete Elijah Sanders. A lot of these guys are athletes because they play everywhere. Kilo is 6'3", 220, 2,326 passing yards, and then 879 rushing yards. Him running quarterback power is an absolute nightmare. His dad played at Mary Hardin Baylor. He'll be a senior this upcoming year for Sealy. And then Sanders is in the backfield slot, outside wide receiver. He had 6 interceptions at safety and earned district utility MVP. His dad was a star quarterback back in the 90s, so they come from good stock. Going down to number 4, Waco La Vega quarterback Courtney Parr and wide receiver Jabari Thornton. So Parr grew up big time last year as he led the team to the state championship, and he honestly showed a lot of flashes as a D1 prospect in that state championship game. The stat line wasn't pretty because that Carthage defense was so dominant, but Gabe Brooks, friend of the program, national scout at 247 Sports, said they did not reflect how many times he flashed with big-time throws. 6'3", 215 pounds. He also played basketball this year on the 18-3 Waco La Vega team, helped with his footwork and quickness. His sister, Kylia Parr, plays at Wichita State, and she won back-to-back state championships at Waco La Vega. And then Jabari Thornton, Oklahoma State commit, district co-offensive MVP, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. Coach Don Hyde says his speed is now elite after track season.
Yeah, he was a freak show on the camp tour this year. He's almost unguardable. I believe it was the Elite 11 / All 22 that I had a chance to watch him compete, and he was one of the best guys there easily, if not the best, in the wide receiver room.
Now going with Frisco Panther Creek, quarterback Graylin Fry, and an athlete we're all familiar with is Jalen Lott. We had him on In His Own Words. Mallory Hartley sat down and interviewed Jalen Lott. He might be the best athlete in Class 4A. I won silver medals in the long jump and triple jump. When I saw him against Alvarado, he was playing safety, had an interception, but his calling card on Panthers Creek's pass-happy offense is 1,111 yards and 16 touchdowns. And then Panther Creek loves to spin the rock. Quarterback Graylin Fry, his first-team All-District in his first year with 3,200 yards, 37 touchdowns, was just named a team captain. Powers, anything else you got to say about Jalen Lott? We've talked about him so much.
Jalen Lott is the number 1 athlete in 4A. There's no
so
doubt.
Not even arguable.
Yeah, it's not arguable. But Parker Ord is another guy to keep an eye on there, right? Fry has got some weapons. And I love that you noted that they were pass happy. They are a fun 4A offense to watch, undoubtedly. There were some questions there about Fry heading into last year. Silence the critics, I would say.
Exactly, yeah. He was excellent last year. His first year starting as a quarterback. Looking forward to seeing him as a senior. Now going to number 2, out in West Texas, Canyon West Plains, Reed McCon and Kane White Tinsley. Reed is going to be a 4-year starter at quarterback, a 4-sport athlete, 3,500 passing yards, 36 touchdowns. He also reached 21.7 miles per hour on some of his runs. He is a straight dude. And then White Tinsley is one of my favorite prospects to watch on tape. 9 interceptions last year, and then also 1,065 receiving yards. Both those guys will be upcoming seniors. Canyon West Plains, we named them as a team that could win their first state championship as a program because they are a new program. Very excited to see what they do this year. Now going to Kilgore. The state runner-ups, number 1, though, on this list in Class 4A, it's quarterback Kason Brooks and athlete Lakelion Graves. Brooks set almost every school passing record last year in his first year as a starter with 3,600 yards, 43 touchdowns. He can run. He's kind of a jitterbug in a good way in the pocket, moves around, makes people miss, but he's always looking to throw, which I like so much about his game. And then Graves, 987 yards and 14 touchdowns. Also had 136 tackles and 3 interceptions. So for that, they are the number 1 team. Number 1 QB wide receiver combo in Class 4A.
Interesting combo there, but Graves, I mean, his production was really good, and he's going to – I mean, Jaden Sanders was on that team last year. They had some talent. He's the guy now, right? And he He quickly passed the eyeball test to me in the state championship game. We saw him at state 7-on-7 as well, and we're impressed. But I think in pads, you can appreciate him even more. Long and rangy, and has the ability to play over the top of defensive backs. Has recently picked up offers from schools like Houston, Tulane, Washington State, Missouri. So, like, he's a top-tier dude.
Yeah, exactly. The top-tier dude. That's why he's first on that list. Now, rounding it out in Class 3A, number 5, La Mesa quarterback Daniel Ramos and wide receiver Silas McCurley. So McCurley was the District 2 3A Division I MVP with 86 catches, 1,316 yards, 27 touchdowns. 27 touchdowns, I even wrote that in the story. No, not a typo. Not misreading that. He had 27. And then Ramos was fearless as a freshman, earned first-team All-District, 2,500 yards, 38 touchdowns. A pro-style quarterback, you see, and he'll just get even better as his career goes on. Was just a freshman last year.
Needs 12 more tutties. I think 39 is the record, I believe, off the top of my head, 39 TDs.
Well, that's what he's got to go for as a senior. We'll see if he does it this upcoming year. Number 4 is Pottsboro quarterback Caden Humphrey and wide receiver Xavier Brady. Humphrey is the offensive MVP with 1,800 rushing yards and 1,800 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards. The epitome of a dual threat. At 6 foot, 195 pounds. He is a football player first and a quarterback second. And I say that as one of my favorite compliments to hand out because he likes to stick his nose in the run game. Brady is 6'1", 185 pounds, 998 yards and 10 touchdowns. He's a big play waiting to happen. And then number 3, Wall quarterback Landon York and wide receiver Reed Robertson. Landon York is the returning passing leader in Class 3A. 3,700 yards, 48 touchdowns on 66.7% completion rate, 6'3", 195 pounds, earned all West Texas team MVP, led Wall to a 13-2 record. How's that for a resume? Unbelievable. And Robertson, 6'2", 175 pounds. He is a 2-time state qualifier in the 4x400 meter and 4x100 meter relays. And that easy athleticism just showed on tape when I watched him.
And congrats to Robertson on a recent offer from Angelo State. So he's going to be playing ball at the next level.
There we go, Robertson. Long time coming for that man right there. Number 2, Fairfield quarterback Cole Collins and wide receiver Finn Smith Powers. Oh, my God. Cole Collins' highlight tape.
You have fun watching that one?
Fun. Talk about here's a guy watch list. He's on it right now. 6'3", 195-pound athlete. He had pulls. I wrote in there, it's Houdini-ax in the backfield. Then he'll throw a rope 40 yards down the field, 3,500 passing yards, 43 touchdowns. And then Smith, 4.4 speed, 1,300 yards. Also really good on special teams with 2 touchdowns there. I love this Fairfield duo.
And you were very excited doing research for this column and called a Cole Collins, you must watch this tape rally for our office, and we had fun. So for people at home that, dude, sometimes we're just talking ball, right? Watching tapes, having fun. A lot of it's a grind. But I remember Cole Collins' morning now. That was a fun morning.
Sometimes recruiting when you're covering these guys, it's not all science. Sometimes it's just art. Sometimes you just feel something when you watch the highlight tape.
Yeah, I had some.
They just be guys being dudes.
Yeah, I'll stop.
Number one quarterback wide receiver duo. It's Winsboro quarterback Nolee Carroll and wide receiver Camden Capehart. Talk about another fun highlight tape. You want to see what is hold on, Capehart's 100-meter time.
Oh, he's like a 10-1.
You see it on tape. Like you watch this tape, you're like, that is what a 10-1 looks like. That's what a back-to-back 100-meter dash champion in 3A looks like. Mississippi State commit, 1,300 yards and 25 touchdowns. And then Nolee Carroll, you expect like, okay, he's got Camden Capehart, like he's just throwing it up to him. Carroll's a dude. He's slinging it out there. He's throwing long bombs, and it's a testament to his arm strength that Capehart can't outrun those throws. 6 foot, 175-pound gunslinger. He's the first-team all-district quarterback with 2,771 yards and 23 touchdowns.
Capehart has one of my favorite recruiting stories in this class, and we need to dive into it. We've covered it a little bit. He had a day where he picked up multiple offers and was playing multiple sports, doing like going to multiple games. Mm-hmm. He went from 0 offers, ran I think it was a 10-1-9, right?
It's ridiculous.
He had 0 offers. He ran like a 10-1-9 at the track meet, got offers, like 2 offers, went to the baseball game, got offers, had football practice that day. By the end of the day, he had like 4 or 5 offers. It was always a really cool story. And now, of course, he's committed to Mississippi State. there is a chance. I still feel like the fastest player I've ever watched in Texas is Tony Brown. Went to Alabama and has been a journeyman in the NFL. He's still playing in the league, I believe. And the quickest player I've ever watched is Jakeem Grant, who was one of the stars at Texas Tech before going on to, having a pretty successful career in the NFL. Capehart is going to challenge to be maybe the fastest.
Wow.
Maybe. I can't his speed is legit and verified.
Mm-hmm.
Track times consistently. 10.19 is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. He's got a play on that highlight tape where there's basically a pick six in the end zone or a fumble, I believe. But anyway, the guy running for a touchdown on defense basically has a 20-yard head start, and Capehart just runs him all the way down, catches him at midfield.
So the speed comes through in pads is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not just track speed. He's a football player who's also great at track.
The best kind of football players, best type of speed guys. Well, that'll do it for our quarterback wide receiver rankings in Class 6A through 3A. Vina, any final thoughts before we head on out of here?
I do want to let you know that Pickle had changed her Mr. Steal Your Show to Mr. Babysit Your Show.
Okay.
So
I like that. It doesn't roll off the tongue as easy, but I like it.
I felt like you got downgraded.
Yeah,
Is Steal to Babysit a downgrade?
Yes, I think so. I went from Mr. Steal Your Show to Mr. Babysit Your Show to powers greater than Carter always.
Yeah.
It's been a tough show for me. All right, well, you don't have to deal with me next week. It'll be Greg Tepper back in studio. Thanks for joining us today on Texas Football Today. For Greg Powers, Director of Recruiting, I am Carter Yates, your temporary host. Thank you, V&A Moreno, for making us sound all nice and purty. And have a great day.
Bye.